All right, so this video is going to be absolutely worthless to the public. So be my guest, turn it off, rewind, and then no, this is not a reverse psychological nothingness video. Plainly put, this is one of those transitional, seasonal changing videos where I'm going from winter into spring, and I need to take a step in the direction of prioritizing, organizing, and planning out, changing over into the upcoming season. And I kind of just do this for myself. It's just a way for me to vocally kind of rehearse in my head, speak out loud, say it to the universe, as far as what I'm doing, what I'm going to be doing, and how life is going to look. Why I post this stuff, quite honestly, I don't know. I don't care at this point, folks. I have been doing this long enough to where I don't really, at some point, I actually enjoy making these videos and posting them, because I know that when I make actual vulnerable videos and I get the inkling that someone has actually watched them, ooh, does it hurt. It never really clicks, guys. I've been making these videos for dang near 15 years, and it wasn't, I could probably count on my hands and toes, on my hands and feet, about how many times I've actually heard someone say, "Hey, I watched one of your videos recently, and yeah, whatever." Any sort of response, but and it's like, oh dear, what'd you watch? So these videos are almost a way to distract or get people to unfollow, dare I say. Guys, I am the complete opposite. If you don't know me at all, I break molds, I break barriers, I do things in a completely different way. Yeah, that's just the way I am, folks. So yeah, it's just the way it is. Hence the reason I have very few followers, because my artwork in life, my character structure, the way I live, just doesn't transition over into everybody's way of living. We all get to the same place, mind you. Don't get me wrong. We're more or less all pretty much ending up in the same place, even though you probably don't agree with that one. But yeah, more or less, I'm just not. I get to the end in a different way. So this is one of them. I'm just going to spitball and kind of prioritize my next season as I'm heading to the gym right now. So to recap, this past winter I've gone from the darkest of my absolute darkest. I've had some pretty physically demanding moments in my life where my body has just broken, and I've had some pretty mentally broken seasons in my life where I have just given up hope and absolutely wandered into the deepest, darkest parts of this world, and somehow found my way back. This past winter, I went dark. If you didn't know, I coined myself physically becoming lost. Right? One of my favorite quotes has always been, "Not all those who wander are lost." Right? That's it, right? Yeah, not all those who wander are lost. Those who wander are not always lost. All right, I can't even tell you my quote. Oh, but yes, this past winter, I will for sure have to admit that I went, nearly lost myself, capital S. Nearly lost it, and like that, folks. I made a decision. I made the decision. I never thought, actually, most of the time. I'm under the impression that like I've never really had that time where, oh, I made the biggest move of my life, and it happened on this day at this time, and I can tell you exactly what happened. That never really happens, and I've had some pretty big moments in my life, mind you. See, I'm still talking to somebody. But I've never really taken it upon myself to be like, yeah, this was the time that I've actually made the change. Last year, I had a pretty big moment where I decided, February 8th, that I was cutting the cord to a lot of the vices that held me back in life, the bad habits, the poor decisions that I would unconsciously just make, and justify that it's just a part of my life, part of my being. And I can tell you, February 8th, I made that decision. It's just been like, yeah, I'm done. But guess what? Didn't hold up, did it? All right, follow me along. That didn't last too long. And boom, like I went right back to old ways within, I don't want to say within no time. Like my story last year is pretty profound. Last year was a big year, very big educational year upon my character and how I respond to the world in a sober sense. And I mean that in the sense of like just being completely broken down to absolutely nothing. No food, no drugs, no family, no friends, guys. I've gone on some journeys, but last year it wasn't just physically depleting. I depleted everything from my body, and I know it can get even darker. I know it can get worse. However, this past month, sometime, I actually do remember the date. I told myself I wouldn't have remembered. I don't know, that was the baptism, right? So if you watch any of my recent videos, you'll notice that one of my videos was a baptism-related video. And I can't remember the date that I got baptized, but I remember which. Actually, I don't remember which Sunday it was. It was like 2 Sundays ago or something, really recent. And that was a good spiritual turning point. However, my physical turning point happened, I would say, I think February 28th. Was it January 28th? January 28th. Yeah, it's March now, so I've been in the gym for just over a month. Guys, I can see the physical progression. That's breaking a barrier, because normally the personal trainer or the guys who've been doing the exercise game for a while will tell you're not going to see too much progression. You're not going to see, you're going to see a lot of progression within your first few months of training, but you don't want to go into the gym and expect to see your body just transmorph, right, within the first few weeks, right? That's not how it should be. And if it is, don't forget that as fast as you gain it / lose it, you can lose it and gain it that much faster back, right? So if you hop on the bandwagon of exercise and you just lose 50 pounds, lose 100 pounds of weight, or you gain that muscle mass within a few months, don't forget you can lose it or gain it just as fast if you don't stick to it consistently. Now I remember, I know this to be true. However, this past month, I've seen gains hands down. And it's like within the areas that I expected to see it, right? Like I started off doing home-based workouts like maybe before the end of the year, before the end of the year of 2023, or at the beginning of 2024, I was doing home workouts, and I started doing specific things. Like I wanted a bigger chest, and I wanted to make sure that I could do pull-ups. I did a lot of body weight exercises. Guys, my chest is obviously growing. You know, it's nothing impressive, don't get me wrong, but it has obviously changed. If I did a progression photo over the past month, you would see a change. Most progression photos are like 3, 6, 9, 12 months, more or less. So anyway, I've seen the progress, I've seen the change, we're doing good. Where am I going with this? This is totally off topic. Yeah, I guess we're just kind of catching up. Baptism happened maybe 2 weeks ago. And guys, I'm on fire. Like, I'm not blazing, but I've probably a good analogy. If you watched any of my videos from the end of 2023, you'll notice when I was living out of a cabin in the woods, maybe September, October, I was getting into some dark times because I had lost a job that I had been working towards for a very long time. Not very long, but mentally I had wanted this type of job for years, for decades. For decades, I have been looking for a job in which I was, or the type of job that I was going after, and that I actually had gotten. Lo and behold, it didn't work out. So be that as it may, I had started to get dark, and as I was living out of the cabin in the woods, I was forced to utilize my surroundings, whether it be heat, light, warmth and whatnot, and water, Essentially, I had to build a fire, folks, every day, right? It was a necessity for me to build fires so I can not only, let's say, eat my food, cook my food, but to maintain a sense of mental fortitude for myself. I had to keep my fire going so that so it did not go out, essentially, spiritually, right? And so to transition into what I'm talking about, the end of last year, obviously the flame didn't go out completely, but I will say that a candlelight is saying too much, right? Like a candle, that wick, the wick that produces the flame, not even, right? The wick was millimeters, so the flame was a dot, right? I've actually seen flames that is just the blue light. And I know, like, for those that know fire, like, you can make a blue flame really big and really bright. Think of a candle light, and if you look closely, obviously there's that little blue flame at the bottom. That's what I was at, folks. I was at that blue flame, just a little bit. And the start of 2024, I got through it. I made it to 2024, and simply making it to the new year, just making it to a new year, like, was enough mental clarity that helped me think, like, okay, maybe there's one more chance. I didn't change, folks, right? Just because it was the new year didn't mean that I made some progressive change. I didn't change jack, right? I was still in my bad. I was still the mental fog, brain fog. Wasn't at the gym come December 1st or January 1st. I was very much out of my element. But that candle went from blue flame to yellow flame. And slowly but surely, that candle would go to, let's say, a lantern. And if you've ever used a lantern, you'll know that you can actually adjust the wick height on the in the lantern, right? So slowly but surely, every single day, and it's funny, my dad actually got me, my mother, stepmother, and father got me a lantern for Christmas, and I would just think about that analogy, or use that analogy every single day of like keeping my candle lit, raising that wick just a little bit more. Lo and behold, at the end of January, every single day I would exercise in January on my own at home and raise that wick. Come January 28th, I decided to get my membership to the gym, and it went from that wick to, here's a cool little analogy, with every single exercise routine that I would do at home, not only was I making that wick a little bit longer, but I was building a campfire. I was building a campfire. If you've ever seen me build a campfire, you know it takes me a long time because I like to prep. Not a very good prepper, but when I build my campfires, I like to build it so it lasts for a while. I don't want to start a flame and then build off the flame. I want to build the foundation of a fire first, then light the fire and just let it go, right? And then, as it's burning, go out and look for more wood, go out and find more kindling, and keep the fire going, right? So in the beginning of January, I was building or preparing the structure of my campfire without actually lighting it. Going to the gym and actually signing up for a membership was the light of the campfire, right? And ever since then, it's been slowly but surely building up and building up and building up, and my fire's going and it's going. Another little analogy would be with every single relationship that I've built in the gym. It's another log on my fire. Holy crap, I just got chills, bros. With every single relationship I am building, with every single hello, with every single greeting that I make, I am grabbing a log to put on my fire. With every person that comes up to me and says hello, they are putting logs on my fire, and it is the best feeling in the world. So, guys, I'm already at the gym, and I haven't gotten anywhere. All right, so maybe I'll warm up or something. I don't know. My microphone hasn't come into the mail, so I don't know if I could take you guys into the gym, but man, I had so much to talk about. Man, maybe we'll have to go into this later. So, give me a second here. But, yeah, that's kind of catching you guys up. The baptism itself, to keep going on this analogy game, the baptism itself was probably the transition. I know I may have messed up a little bit on my analogies, so I'll try and recap a little bit. But the baptism itself was I would say there is a part when building a fire where what I prepare for the initial fire itself begins to deteriorate, right? You can prepare a fire and start the fire at whatever stage, right? You can light a piece of paper, but as long as you have kindling to put on, you can just slowly add to it this little flame. I prefer the preparation of building up a fire so that when I turn my back, right? When I turn away from that flame and go off into the darkness, I know that flame will still be lit. You You follow? So going to the gym and meeting people are putting on one little stick at a time, right? To keep that going. I can run to the woods and come back to my flame. Run to the woods and come back to the flame. And people can throw on sticks on my flame itself, right? But there comes a point where your fire... I gotta take off my glasses for this. There comes a point where your fire transitions from what I like to consider another analogy of a childlike fire. So you have infancy, you have child, and then you have teenager, and then you have like adult, right? So there's 4 stages. Infancy is the non-prepared fire, right? You're creating a flame. This is like when you're in survival mode, where you have to like start a fire with a spark, right? Without even a match or something. You've got to create a spark, and you have that little bundle of tinder, and that bundle of tinder is only going to last you like 15 to 30 seconds before it turns to an ember, and you've got to like find more tinder, right? That tinder lasts 15 to 30 seconds. The sticks, the little mini sticks, will last you anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes before it kind of turns into just little embers again. And that's child, right? So infancy is the tinder, children is the prepared. I don't want to say it's the prepared, because I've prepared some pretty nice fires that can last until, let's say, adulthood, right? So weird. But usually a survival fire, let's say you're in the middle of winter, so you can only gather these little sticks, and they need to almost dry out before they get caught into a flame. Really, really small ones. So you have the childlike, where am I going with this? Right, baptism. Baptism is what got me from, essentially what I'm saying is that baptism got me from my I think it got me from my childhood to my teen. I want to say teen to adulthood, but I don't think I'm there yet. I really don't, right? I really don't think I'm there yet. But the teenage flame, if you still follow, is good enough to where I could technically I got my teenage fire last year, right? If you follow my videos last year, I was on fire, folks. I was really on fire. I wasn't an adult fire, but I was passionate, and I was not just passionate, but I was developing an intimate relationship with God, and I had just started developing connections with people. Sadly, that's where my fire started to die. Why? Because it was my fear. It became, I got anxious, and I got nervous, and I got fearful, because it's just not my strong suit, right? Connecting with people is not my strong suit. The gym has been my safety grounds, right? I can build a fire in the gym, and I can have other people add to my flame rather than it deteriorate my flame. And please don't make this, I don't want anybody, if you are following, this has nothing to do with a relationship with anybody specifically. It's more or less my own personal disconnect from my own self, right? So anyway, I cannot believe I haven't gone anywhere with this. But anyway, my baptism was essentially going from a childlike flame to a teenage flame, to where I am now in the beginning. I am in the starter stages of being tested upon that which I've learned in years prior. And as long as I can overcome the obstacles, overcome the difficulties, the struggles, my fire will stay lit, and new challenges will arise for me to hopefully transition into an adult-like fire, which is something where you can finally sit back. You can sit back and kind of take a break. Right now is no time for me to take a break. The children do not deserve breaks. The children grow. You grow through experiencing life and educating and learning and doing, right? So I am in the doing stage of my life again, and it is up to me. It's up to me to maintain this, to be consistent, to say, to keep on going. The adulthood flame looks like you have one of two options. This is how I see it. Now, don't quote me, but one of two options when you reach your adult flame. You can either take a break, sit back, and watch your flame, or you can get out into those woods, gather as much firewood as possible, which looks like building up your own kingdom, right? So this is where an adult might transition from work. In my analogy, this is where I would transition from working for someone else to working for yourself, in a sense, right? If you work for someone else, guess what you've got to do every single day? You got to wake up, you got to go look for firewood, you got to put that firewood on, and at the end of the day, that firewood starts to deteriorate. You wake up again, you do it again and again and again. The entrepreneur will wake up, gather the firewood, work into the night, gather more firewood, work into the next day, gather more firewood, work into the next day, gather, and have such a pile of wood that he's prepared for an entire year, right? He's prepared for the next few seasons. He's prepared for the winter season. Right on? More to follow. I know everything in the beginning of this video was the exact opposite of how I just treated this video, but more to come. We'll stop it there. See you guys in a bit. We will follow this up at the end of the gym session. Lift expressively. Peace. All right. Welcome back. It's funny, guys. To be honest, I am not even sure what I really wanted to get out in the open at the beginning of this video / before the gym. Something about, I remember, but I can't remember what I was gonna say originally. So I need to prioritize is what I'm looking to do. I need to start prioritizing my spring and summer. There's a lot going on, there's a lot happening, and it's all up in the head. It was all up in the head until I exercised, and now I feel better. Go figure. So I'm going to try and bring some of it up just to at least adhere to what I mentioned in the beginning. However, this is probably the part where you actually don't need to listen to, but let's see how our ADHD / non-disorder but absolute wicked ability to converse with myself actually works. I only say ADHD because then most people will identify and be like, oh, I know what you mean. I don't have a disorder, folks. I am freaking epic. God made me in his own image, and I am the way I am because that's the way it is. It's awesome. I love it. I can deter you from watching a video, yet spit some of my greatest pearls of wisdom, and not even know it. I got out of the car and I was so happy. I just felt so good from the first half of this video. I don't really know how long this video is going to be. But yeah, I felt amazing. That felt really good earlier. So to just start spitball, we're just going to kind of start ranting. So today, nowadays, to transition from where we've been coming from throughout the winter. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. If this is a good video and you actually started like, I'm so sorry. But yeah, winter was difficult. It is what it is. I made my breakthrough. I am back on the wagon, so to speak, whether it be spiritually, physically, mentally. Guys, how about this? I have cried every single day. You ready for this? Since November. By the way, I didn't even tell you guys the date. It's March 6th, folks. I'm not joking, right? Right? Talk about vulnerability. Every day. Without fail, folks. Maybe, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 days, right? Like, you can easily count them. But what started off as breakdowns, right? So back in November, December, I would say the days where I didn't cry, I was so lost up in my head. Like, it wasn't emotional, it was emotionless, right? It was depression. If you know what I went through, it was a lack of emotion. I was depressed. I just stopped caring. I stopped thinking. I didn't stop thinking, right? I got all up in my head and lost myself. Completely lost myself. And it probably would have helped if I had cried. But on the days that I didn't cry, I was probably such a blur, right? It was just completely emotionless and dead, right? I would have been better off crying. I was emotionally dead. I was mentally dead. No doubt. That's not beating around the bush, folks. Mentally dead is definitely the way to put it. And then come January, without a doubt, not a single day missed. Not a single day missed. The second I started exercising, just tears. Some more profound than others, meaning like just a lot more. I've recently started watching The Chosen, right? So I've been watching The Chosen for maybe, I've been running through them. So it's only been like a few weeks. And obviously I'm just draining, pouring out in happiness, right? Very, very grateful, very thankful, very proud to have broken through and upgraded my relationship spiritually with the higher power, relationship with myself, capital S, and with other people, man. I have had sad days where I'm crying because I've had happy days where I'm crying out of the connections that I'm making, and I've had sad days where I'm crying because of the lack of connection, or let's just say lack of connection. But yeah. So to keep on going, close to needing gas. Probably should have gotten gas. That's okay. But to keep on going here, I don't know where to begin. So every Sunday is church. That's a guarantee. which means every Sunday has the ability to be more or less, I like my Sundays to be very people-oriented. I want to connect with people. I want to go out. I want to be with somebody. I want to get vulnerable, essentially. On Sundays, I want to get vulnerable. And I've always liked that about Sundays. You start off, whatever you do in the morning, but you go to church and you always see good, happy people. And then, hopefully it grows from there. Not every Sunday has worked out for me that way. I will also be honest, Sundays are not easy for me. I actually find Sundays to be very difficult, meaning church. Essentially, I find church to be very difficult. So here we go. Let's just sidetrack our world completely. So my struggle these days, my bigger struggle, I honestly do not have too many major struggles beyond I don't want to say money, because money's not a struggle, right? Like I may not be rich, I may not have a lot of cash in my pocket, but I just don't need it, right? Like I just don't need it. So it's not really a struggle when I have less cash. I don't want to say less work, because winter was just not that great for work this year. But because once I went to the gym, it was like I'm there for 5-6 hours, right? I'm good to be there for 4 or 5 hours a day. So that has been getting better. I could just throw myself into the gym and leave myself there. So the biggest struggle right now is being vulnerable in I don't want to say in the church setting, but essentially with people. Because I know who I am, and I know what I've done, not just the sins that I've committed, but the person who I am is also the self, the character. Let's just say the body. Because this is not my soul. My soul may be scarred, right? Maybe scarred, but those wounds heal, right? I can heal from my soul. When I say I mean my soul. My soul can heal from the wounds of sin that I have committed, right? Thankfully, right? I'm very glad for that. A downfall for me, I don't know how careful to be, because I don't know who's watching these videos. Hopefully 40 minutes in, nobody's watching this video. But my body has what I've always considered to be an unforgivable sin, but it is not the unforgivable sin, which is taking the Holy Spirit's in vain, maybe, I think, something like that. But my body commits a sin where I absolutely have that, where my mind, my body, has no control over, let's just say, what my eyes look at. Right? You follow me there, gentlemen? If that's not good enough, but I'm pretty sure all men struggle with lust. Most, if not, congratulations, you're beating a pretty difficult sin to beat, in my opinion. But I absolutely struggle with that sin. It is very difficult to work around. I don't want to put myself on a pedestal and make it seem as if my lust is more difficult than others, but I think it creates because I don't think I'm not necessarily like all the other guys out there. If you follow, I have to be careful who I create relationships with. I have to be careful who I surround myself with, right? I don't want to be sexist, I'm trying to be careful here. But I don't think I am. I don't think I am by saying like some men follow this rule, follow a guideline. I don't want to say follow even, but some men find it easier to relate to. I want to be good. I want to be able to preach this right. Relate to other men, right? On a level where we can converse and connect in a different way. I don't want to use the word better, but it's a different relationship than when a man seeks out a woman, right? When a man seeks out a woman, or when a woman seeks out a man, you're looking for a specific relationship. The Bible usually talks about this, I'm pretty sure. The Bible tends to put it in ways where the woman and man are to balance themselves out, right? It's good to be opposites in a way, because then you balance each other out. You guys, the man and woman, right? Their strengths and weaknesses balance each other out, right? It's very simple. Very simple concept. Not every relationship is like this. I'm not putting any relationship down, right? But simply put, in the realm of, let's just say, marriage or sexual connection, the point, I don't want to say the point, usually the goal is to balance each other out. I don't want to hearsay, right? Don't follow me. I'm not the person to follow on this subject matter. You want to follow something? Go read the Bible. Go read it. Me, personally, I find it difficult to connect to not just women, but many men, right? Not that it's a struggle because I feel weird or I don't know how to connect with guys. Like, I can connect with guys very well and I can develop relationships with men very well. But I have to be careful who I do, because I can't let other aspects of my body get involved in the relationship that I'm trying to build. You feel me? Right on. Why am I going into this right now? Struggle, difficulty, gym, exercise, poof. I think it may have had something to do with no, it didn't. I don't really care about that, because quite honestly, in the gym, my sanctuary, church, right. Struggle. So the reason why I love the gym so much, and I've mentioned this to many of the people already, is that in the gym, everyone starts on the same level playing field. My attraction towards the other person doesn't exist in the gym. It just doesn't, folks. I am purely in the gym to build the body up physically, stronger, mentally, blah, blah, blah. So that aspect of me does not exist. It's when I'm outside of the gym where the relationships that I build, I feel I need to be careful, right? Or I just need to read, right? I need to make sure that I know what the Bible says, and I know how to control those urges, right? So in the church realm, why it becomes so difficult is because, well, if you follow me this far, there you go. Because, like I said, it does kind of feel like an unforgivable sin, even though most people struggle with some form of lust. I find it difficult to build relationships with some guys. Plain and simple, right? That's simple. I can say it on here because it's my vlog, my videos, and I don't really care what you think, because I'm not even talking to you. If you want my real 2 cents, you want my honest opinion in the regards of respectable opinion, it's a lot different than this not so caring attitude that I come off of. I do care. I absolutely care. I care the most about the relationships that I build. But because I'm at a point in my life where for a great majority of my life, I've been condemned for who I am. I have to go out, or I have to go out of my way to connect to a piece of plastic in order to spread or be open and be vulnerable how I feel about this subject, about the topic. So, be that as it may, church is difficult for me to go to. Church has always been difficult for me to go to. I like church because it's supposed to be filled with good people, those non-judgmental people and people that are loving and caring and kind and accepting, blah blah blah. It's not always the case. Either way, I am slowly getting over my struggles. Baptism has taught me to just, at least as far as the movement goes, take my problems and just drop it at the feet of God and just let it go. I really don't care. I don't care what people think. What I do care about is our I kind of do care. I care because I want to build relationships with people. Whether or not I'm attracted to you. Like, it should not matter if I'm literally attracted to somebody or not. A relationship is a relationship. It doesn't have to be sexual, right? And you can, it's up to me to discipline myself. It's not up to anybody else to worry about whether or not the relationship is I know I'm going to think of the word later, is tampered with, is right? Should be changed because of it, right? So it's a struggle, it's a difficulty, but quite honestly, if people don't accept, I've become so hardened that, I mean, it's not good. I know it's not a very good attitude, but I've developed such a thick skin. I'm talking plenty thick. Like, people that know me know my sentence. I eat guilt, shame, and resentment for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Plain and simple. It's that easy. I could care less on preaching it to anybody else, because it's all good. It's all good. God knows the struggle. I could cry out to him whenever I want to. Listen to me, my sexist pigness. Him, right? But anyway, so that's my overall difficulty nowadays, is just finding a place where I feel full on accepted, right? Just full on accepted by a group. And it sucks that a lot of churches I've seen, that I've been to, this is a big one, folks. The churches that I've been going to have a wide range, a wide gap of missing not young adults, because the young adults are in their 20s or supposedly. I'm saying young adults in their 30s, right? I have yet to meet a group of guys in their 30s. I don't know any of them, right? And the younger adults, which are full of passion and energy, not sexually attractive, but so attractive. Like, obviously, I love energy, right? I love passion. I love seeing people that just are just happy to be alive and are just spreading good vibes. Guys, that's what it's all about, right? I can do it all day, and I do it I do it more so when other people do it. My energy is good, but it's even better when other people respond to it. And it's like a typhoon. It's like a whirlwind. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Wow, is it hot? Oh my goodness. All right, I'm done here. So yeah. I needed to say it's not like sexually attracted energy, but the energy that like the youth put out, young adults, young people, is amazing when you have it. Right on. And that's what I like. That's what gets me going. Adults. But I'm also but I'm also not young anymore. I'm not in my 20s, right? So I actually can't be around. I can't be involved in some young adults, let's just say ministries and groups and organizations, because I'm just not that young anymore, plain and simple. Hence the reason I'm trying to start my own thing, right? I'm trying to do my own camp, my own dare I say, my own meditation camps, but my own training camps, my own weekend training seminars for fudged up people like me, people with trauma and problems and mental issues that we just need to break free from, right? And the youth, maybe, people in their 20s just don't necessarily need it. I like the energy, but it's not necessarily, I don't want to say necessarily for them, but it's not necessarily attractive to them. And the older people, right, adults in their 40s and above, tend to be, to me, tend to be more on the mentor side, obviously. But people, I don't know, that I haven't just quite gotten attached to or haven't been attracted to me yet. Like I'm a little too energetic for them, right? Because people in their 40s are kind of, let's just say, midlife crisis and crap like that. I do not plan on having one. I will, but not because I'm lacking energy. It'll be because I'm all messed up. But adults probably look at me and be like, there's no chance that I could ever be like that guy again. This guy, this energetic freak of nature. But I've got to break that barrier. I've got to break that mold. I've got to break those thoughts, because the camps that I want to put up and running are precisely for adults, my age and above, meaning people with experience, people with mental, physical trauma, beliefs that just don't help you progress in life. I suppose I could tie this all together. So that's what this year's about. This year, my employer being at Camp High, if you know, I work at the Camp High Canoe and Kayak, which is just a facility. We send people out on the river all day, every day, not a single day off in the summer, right? From mid-April to mid-October, not a single day off. No days off, folks. Not a one. And it could be up to 10 to 12 hours a day. Yeah. But aside from that gig, the same owner owns property on the land that I live at. It's a very close residence. The owner lives a couple houses away from me. She owns the house that I live at. She owns the property that's right across the street, which is the Camp High Canoe and Kayak. And the land that I live on has a big camp in the backyard. I'm talking 50 acres of woods, all in the backyard, and probably about half a dozen, I think about 9 or 10 cabins in the woods. One of them being, I don't know, 20, 40. oh gosh, 100 by 40? Yeah, so maybe 2, 4, 6, 1,000 square feet. 1,000, yeah, 1,000 square feet. Perfect size for a group of 5 to 25 people to gather. And well, technically inside you have your meals, right? Because we can cook outdoors and we can train outdoors and we can campfire outdoors. But inside the dining hall, we can all circle up and just be having just the most immense immersion experience of a lifetime, where people connect, grow stronger, learn from each other, build, gain, grow. Folks, plain and simple. And that's what we're doing this year. This year we're getting the cabins going, we're getting the camp going. We've got trees to fell. I've got 30-40 trees to start chainsawing, right? That's started doing it this week. I'm going to be doing it tomorrow morning. Clearing out the woods, getting rid of the old and bringing in the new. New cabins, new everything. So, still not everything I wanted to get out. But essentially that's one of the biggest goals for this upcoming season. Yeah. But yeah, everything else is hearsay. Lots of work to be done. Yeah, everything else was just not important. Like with things I gotta do. Yeah, don't worry about that. There you go. This whole video is necessary, folks. Learn. Just don't listen to what I say when I start my videos. How funny. Anyway, live expressively. Much love. Get some sleep, folks.